Hey everyone, my name is Claude from the Lamest Defenders, and today I'm reviewing the final paid DLC release for Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, Shadow of Doom. The Fantastic Four themed pack comes with a batch of new campaign missions, 6 new characters, and a multitude of unlockable costumes. After months of waiting, does this fantastically themed content hit the spot? For those who aren't familiar with the base game, Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 is a third-person action brawler developed by Team Ninja and is an exclusive to the Nintendo Switch. When the game launched in July, it featured 36 playable characters, with Cyclops and Colossus added for free shortly thereafter. For an additional $20, gamers can pick up the game's expansion pass, which includes 3 different content drops, promising new characters players can unlock. Besides Shadow of Doom, the expansion pass includes the Marvel Knights flavored Curse of the Vampire, which was released in September, and Rise of the Phoenix, an X-Men focused pack released in December. For Shadow of Doom, which came out on March 26th, the DLC includes a new Epilogue story mode taking the game's superheroes to the highly requested Negative Zone and even Dr. Doom's castle in Latveria. In addition, there's a bunch of new Gauntlet mode missions and a few new Danger Room challenges as well. As for the new characters in this pack, they are Mr. Fantastic, Invisible Woman, The Thing, Human Torch, Dr. Doom, and one character that I won't spoil here, but let's just say he makes the game a lot easier. Although we previously released a few videos which break down Shadow of Doom's characters and their abilities, here's a quick overview. Mr. Fantastic plays similarly to his iterations in the last Marvel Ultimate Alliance games. He obviously can stretch his limbs to hit far off opponents, roll into a tire to bulldoze baddies, and is capable of throwing enemies across the level. He's a great addition to the roster and seems like a perfect teammate to Ms. Marvel. If you like the keep away game and pestering enemies from afar with quick, long-reaching attacks, he's your guy. Next up is Invisible Woman. She has plenty of ranged attacks, throwing orbs at her opponents, and can even summon a massive wall that can burst enemies up in the air. In addition, Sue Richards has an ability that allows her to go invisible, run in the middle of a pack of enemies, and unleash a burst of energy. Probably one of the most useful powers in her arsenal is a protective barrier she can put around her teammates, reducing incoming damage. So far, she seems like the perfect support character for your team. Like his sister, the Human Torch specializes in a variety of ranged moves. As you can guess, Johnny Storm is a blaster-esque character, throwing fireballs, igniting huge patches of ground that can burn the enemy, and he can also charge and slam into his enemies with his other moves. Just like in Marvel Ultimate Alliance 1 and 2, he can blast enemies with a continuous stream of flames, but unlike the other games, the Human Torch can still move around while he's using it. Out of all the characters in this batch of DLC, he's easily my favorite. Rounding out the Fantastic Four is Ben Grimm, aka The Thing. He plays similarly to big bruiser-like characters like the Hulk and Colossus, in which he can take a lot of damage and throw out just as much. A lot of his moves have him holding down the button to unleash a stronger, more damaging attack. My favorite ability of his is when he slams into the ground and picks up a big chunk of concrete, which he can use to block enemy attacks. Then when he's ready, he punches the concrete to send shrapnel at cannon fodder around him. All in all, he's what you'd expect out of the team's muscle.
It's clobbering time!
And finally, the big baddie of this DLC is of course Dr. Doom. He's my second favorite character in this pack and has some of the most unique movesets in the game's entire roster of 56 characters. For Victor Von Doom, his playstyle is centered around his Doom bot that he can summon. Once summoned, the Doom bot enhances all of Dr. Doom's moves. For instance, if he's shooting his signature beam attack, there will be actually 2 beams, equally powerful and being shot out by Dr. Doom and his Doom bot. I think it's important that all players play around with this character and figure out the best ISO 8 combination for him, because I think his character can lend itself to a plethora of character builds. Now, to unlock all these characters, and even the secret character, players need to just beat the Epilogue Campaign episodes included with this pack. For the Fantastic Four, just play the missions once. For Dr. Doom, beat the game in superior difficulty, and for the last secret character, beat the game on the ultimate difficulty. With the game's characters out of the way, let's talk about the game's new story content. The Epilogue, as the name implies, ties all of the loose threads left from the game's original campaign. It answers questions as to what a lot of characters like the X-Men and the members of the Fantastic Four were up to. As I said previously, you'll get to go to the Negative Zone and face off with Dr. Doom in Latveria. Although the new missions won't take gamers any longer than an hour and a half to race through, it's still a welcome addition considering the last 2 DLC packs just added modes instead of additional bosses and environments. As for the new ending, I can't help but feel like there won't be any more big DLC announcements for Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3. There might be more costumes or maybe a patch, but I think Team Ninja is now going to focus on a sequel. At least that's what I presume, especially since the last secret character you unlock is incredibly overpowered. Another positive about the game's latest content is that the patch that contains Shadow of Doom also released some freebies for everyone, even if you don't own the expansion pass. The free content includes an increased level cap to 300, tons of new voice lines for each character, along with tons and tons of new skins. Again, it's just more content and it's free, so you really can't complain about that. As for the DLC's negatives, there isn't a whole lot to mention other than the technical issues. As I said in the Rise of the Phoenix review 3 months ago, one of the biggest criticisms I have for Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3 in general is the game's horrible frame rate. The game is limited by the Nintendo Switch's hardware and is constantly shoving way too many enemies and effects at the same time, bringing the action to a grinding halt. Not to mention the questionable reliability of the game's online modes. That said, most of the time there isn't an issue, but it really becomes apparent when playing Gauntlet Mode or Danger Room online. To wrap it all up, as Shadow of Doom is the last batch of major content from Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, you should all be fine with it. The game has added 16 additional characters since its launch, and it's only gotten better. For $20, the game's Season Pass is a must-own. Let's hope that Team Ninja and Nintendo will be announcing a sequel in the near future. That wraps up our Shadow of Doom review. Thank you so much for watching. Please let us know in the comments below if there's a certain character that you're still hoping that gets added to the game. Finally, if you haven't already, please make sure to hit the like and subscribe button. It really helps us continue to provide more Marvel goodness. Thanks again, and stay lame.
They said it wasn't gonna happen, but I kept the faith, and here we are, rocking some sweet DLC action.
What are you blathering about this time, Wade?
You know, DLC. Deadpool loves Cable. You and me back together, Nate, just like the good old days.
Those days were not what I'd call good.
Potato, paste pot, pedo. What matters is we've got ourselves a massive crisis to prevent, and you and I have pouches full of weapons. And some other assorted knickknacks that probably won't be nearly as helpful, but let's focus on the weapons.
If we're really facing off against a Celestial, even my full arsenal won't be enough to prevent an extinction-level event.
I've got an extra sword stash somewhere uncomfortable. I don't usually like to share, but for you, I'll make an exception, partner.
We're not partners, Wade. Never have been, never will be. Get that through your disease-addled brain.
Okay, fine. Have it your way. But could we at least put our differences aside and fight in a convenient squad of 4 while everyone else in our alliance seemingly abandons us until a pivotal moment?
If I agree, will it finally shut you up?
Oh, I think you already know the answer to that one, Cyclops Jr.
Right. Didn't think so. But we're wasting time and I'm all out of options. I'll take what I can get.
Aw, Nate. You always did know how to make a girl feel special.